You noticed something was wrong with them long before anyone else did. A tiny change in their voice, a smile that disappeared too quickly, a compliment that somehow felt like an insult. Everyone told you that you were overthinking, that you were too sensitive, that you should give them a chance. Then months later, the truth finally came out, and suddenly everyone saw what you had sensed from the beginning. But recognizing hidden patterns comes with a cost, because once your mind starts noticing what people are trying to conceal, ordinary conversations no longer feel ordinary. They become exhausting. So why do some people see through social masks almost instantly? And why does that ability eventually make them want to disappear? The answer is darker than simple introversion. Because the same mind that protects you from deception can slowly convince you that no one is safe. Imagine walking into a room filled with laughter. Everyone seems relaxed. The conversations flow naturally. People exchange compliments. They smile. To everyone else, it's just another pleasant evening. But your brain notices something different. One person's smile fades the moment another begins speaking. Someone laughs, but their eyes remain completely empty. A friend congratulates another friend, yet there's a subtle hesitation, a tiny pause, almost invisible. Most people never notice it. Your brain does, not because you're trying to judge people, but because your mind automatically connects hundreds of tiny details that most people never consciously register. Body language, tone of voice, past experiences, facial expressions, small inconsistencies. Within seconds, your brain begins building a pattern, long before anything actually happens. And strangely, those patterns are often right. Weeks later, the friendship falls apart. Months later, someone admits they were lying. Eventually, everyone else catches up to what you sensed almost immediately. People often call this intuition, but psychology suggests something even more fascinating. Your brain isn't reading minds, it's recognizing patterns. Without asking your permission, it continuously compares what people say with how they behave. It searches for contradictions, tiny emotional leaks, moments where actions quietly disagree with words. The problem is, once your brain learns to see those patterns, it becomes almost impossible to stop looking for them. And that's where the real story begins. Because the greatest burden isn't seeing through people. It's trying to live in a world that often rewards pretending. Have you ever left a party and felt more exhausted than if you had worked all day? Nothing dramatic happened. Nobody argued. Nobody insulted you. People laughed. They talked. They smiled. Yet the moment you got home, all you wanted was silence. At first, you assume you're simply introverted. But what if that's only part of the story? Imagine sitting at a dinner table with 6 other people. One person tells a funny story. Everyone laughs. But your attention isn't on the story anymore. It's on the person sitting across from you. You notice the forced smile, the quick glance toward someone else, the slight tension in their jaw, a compliment that sounds warm, yet somehow feels strangely empty. Without even realizing it, your brain starts connecting the dots. You've seen that expression before. You've heard that tone before. You remember how this same person reacted the last 3 times someone else received attention. Within seconds, your mind has built an entire picture while everyone else is still enjoying the conversation. This is what makes high pattern recognition so exhausting. Most people simply listen. Your brain compares, it cross-checks. It searches for consistency between words, emotions, facial expressions, and past behavior. Not because you're suspicious, but because that's how your mind naturally processes social information. The problem is, your brain never really clocks out. Even when the conversation seems meaningless, it's still collecting data, still looking for patterns, still asking the same silent question, does this match what I already know? Over time, this constant mental processing becomes incredibly expensive. Not because people are difficult, but because your brain is doing far more work than anyone around you realizes. And then something else begins to happen. You stop speaking as much, not because you have nothing to say, but because you've already predicted where the conversation is going. You already know who is about to seek attention, who is quietly competing, who is pretending. Eventually, silence becomes easier than pretending you don't notice. But that silence hides a danger of its own. Because the same ability that helps you recognize unhealthy patterns can slowly teach you to expect them everywhere. Imagine receiving a genuine compliment. Someone smiles and says, "I'm really proud of you." For a brief moment, you feel appreciated. But then your mind starts asking questions. Did they really mean it? Are they expecting something from me? Is there another motive? Within seconds, a simple compliment has turned into an investigation. This is where high pattern recognition becomes dangerous, because once your brain becomes exceptionally good at detecting hidden patterns, it can start seeing patterns that aren't actually there. Psychologists call this hypervigilance, a state in which your mind stays constantly alert for possible threats. Sometimes that alertness protects you. It helps you notice manipulation, dishonesty, or unhealthy relationships before they become obvious. But sometimes, it quietly turns into something else. Your brain stops asking, "What if they're lying?" and starts assuming they're probably lying. That small difference changes everything. Without realizing it, you begin testing people instead of trusting them. You analyze every message, every pause, every facial expression, every silence. Instead of experiencing the moment, you're investigating it. The strange part is, most people aren't wearing masks because they're trying to deceive you. They're wearing masks because they're nervous, because they want to be accepted, because they're afraid of being judged, just like everyone else. Not every awkward smile hides jealousy. Not every hesitation hides manipulation. Sometimes people are simply human. That's the difficult balance. Pattern recognition is an incredible gift, but wisdom is knowing when to trust your instincts and when to question your own assumptions. Because if you never question your own conclusions, your greatest strength slowly becomes your greatest prison. You stop protecting your peace and start protecting your loneliness. Eventually, you don't isolate yourself because everyone is fake. You isolate yourself because your brain no longer allows anyone the chance to prove they're genuine. And that's the moment everything changes. Because real pattern recognition isn't just about seeing through people, it's about recognizing the rare ones who don't need a mask at all. Imagine meeting someone who says exactly what they mean. Their words match their actions. Their smile reaches their eyes. Their promises become reality. Around them, your mind becomes strangely quiet. Not because you've stopped recognizing patterns, but because for the first time in a long while, there are no contradictions to analyze. That is something many people with high pattern recognition eventually discover. Their greatest gift isn't simply detecting deception, it's recognizing authenticity. The rare people who don't force you to constantly read between the lines, who don't make you question every sentence, who don't leave you mentally exhausted after every conversation. Those people exist. They're simply much harder to find. And that's why disappearing isn't always the answer. Sometimes, stepping back is exactly what you need. Not to escape the world, but to escape the noise. To give your mind enough silence to separate real danger from imagined danger. To remember that protecting your peace doesn't require distrusting everyone. It requires choosing carefully who earns your trust. Because the goal isn't to build walls so high that nobody can reach you. The goal is to build better doors. Doors that let the right people in while keeping the wrong people outside. Your pattern recognition was never meant to make you fear humanity. It was meant to help you understand it. To notice the difference between manipulation and insecurity, between hidden motives and ordinary human imperfections. The people worth keeping in your life won't expect you to pretend. They won't drain your energy. They won't punish you for needing silence. Instead, they'll make silence feel comfortable. Perhaps that's the greatest sign you found your people. Not that they constantly entertain you, not that they always agree with you, but that you no longer feel the need to analyze every word they say, because trust has quietly replaced suspicion. So if you've spent years believing your ability to see hidden patterns was a curse, maybe it's time to see it differently. Your gift was never meant to isolate you. It was meant to guide you, not toward more people, but toward the right ones. Because your greatest strength isn't seeing through people. It's finally recognizing the people you never had to see through in the first place.